Consciousness is an essential phenomenon for human experience, yet it remains completely shrouded in mystery. Over the centuries, philosophers, scientists, and spiritual seekers have dedicated themselves to investigating what it truly means to be conscious. And yet, even with all the advances in science and technology, consciousness continues to defy our understanding, like an enigmatic presence at the heart of the universe. We are able to think, feel, perceive the world around us, and question our own purpose. But is this ability to reflect on ourselves, to experience emotions and meanings, merely a byproduct of physical processes in our brains? Or does consciousness reveal a deeper dimension, a direct connection to the essence of the universe itself? Modern science provides impressive explanations of how the brain works, how nerve cells communicate, and how neural networks process information. But this science of the mind remains silent when faced with a crucial question: how does this complex biological machine give rise to the inner, subjective world that each of us knows? How do physical processes translate into experiences, into an inner dimension accessible only to a conscious being? The universe, vast and mysterious with its distant galaxies, stars, and planets, may exist independently of our perception. Yet it is consciousness that transforms this vastness into something we can experience, giving each event, each element, a meaning. But are consciousness and the universe somehow intertwined, connected on a fundamental level? This question is both unsettling and fascinating. And in a way, when we seek to understand the nature of consciousness, we are also unveiling something about the universe itself. For if consciousness is not merely a side effect but an intrinsic feature of reality, this profoundly changes our understanding of the world we live in and our role within it. So, what do you believe the role of consciousness is? Do you think this ability to be aware is just another function of biology, or does it point to something greater, something that transcends the material world and touches the foundations of the cosmos itself? So, today, with these questions in mind, we will explore the nature and purpose of consciousness, and how this extraordinary phenomenon may be connected to an even deeper mystery, the universal purpose. Today, I'd just like to reflect with you on some hypotheses and questions about the role of consciousness and its connection with the universe. So, if you feel comfortable, let me know what your view would be on this subject. If we look closely at the structure of the universe, we find something surprising. Each element, each force, each constant that regulates the workings of the cosmos seems finely tuned with impressive precision. Small variations in any of these forces could have created a completely different universe, a universe incapable of sustaining the complexity we call life. Consider, for example, the force of gravity. Gravity is the force that holds stars, planets, and even galaxies together. But if this force were just a bit stronger or weaker, the existence of life would be impossible. If it were slightly more intense, stars would have formed from less material and would have lasted much less time, quickly burning up their energy and preventing the emergence and evolution of complex life forms. On the other hand, if it were slightly weaker, stars would never have reached high enough temperatures to produce the heavy elements that form the basis of life, like carbon and oxygen. In both scenarios, a lifeless universe. And it's not just gravity. The proton charge, the strong nuclear force, the cosmological constant, each of these forces operates with a precision that is astonishing even under the strictest scientific calculations. If we altered any of these parameters slightly, the delicate balance that sustains life as we know it would no longer exist. There would be no planets, no stars, and certainly no complexity necessary for consciousness. Faced with this scenario, an inevitable question arises. Is the universe, then, a product of chance, or is there an implicit intentionality in the way it is configured? This extreme precision and exact values that allow life to exist seem, in some way, to suggest an inclination of the universe toward creation, complexity, and consciousness. It is as if the cosmos itself were tuning its laws so that something beyond mere matter could emerge, something capable of observing, reflecting, and giving meaning to its own existence. This idea of fine-tuning has been interpreted in various ways over time. Some see this precision as evidence of a higher mind or force that orchestrated the creation of everything we know. Others propose that we live in a universe among many others, and that by chance ours is compatible with life. Regardless of the answer, the fact that we are in a universe where conditions allow for the existence of conscious beings cannot be ignored. This raises the possibility that the universe, rather than being a mere physical environment, might be predisposed to favoring life and, ultimately, consciousness. For some, the existence of these carefully tuned parameters seems to indicate that the universe is not just a collection of laws and reactions. Perhaps, just as consciousness transforms our life experience, the universe itself is driven by a predisposition to generate beings who can experience it, as if consciousness were the ultimate destiny of its growing complexity. From the first human questions to the advances of modern science, there seems to be a guiding thread in our search to understand not just what we are, but why we exist. In this sense, consciousness would not be a simple individual phenomenon, but a manifestation that transcends our being, making us a living extension of the cosmos. Carl Sagan once said, "We are a way for the cosmos to know itself." This idea transforms our understanding of consciousness, suggesting that we are not merely isolated organisms trying to understand the universe around us, but expressions of the universe itself in its attempt to comprehend itself. Every thought, every feeling, and every deep question about our existence is not just a mental event. It is the universe observing itself through our experience. If matter, over billions of years, evolved into the complexity of the human mind, then our consciousness could be the mirror through which the universe sees itself. This perspective redefines the role of humanity. If indeed we are expressions of the universe trying to understand its own essence, then our purpose is not merely to survive, but to participate in something much greater. The curiosity that drives us to explore the vastness of the cosmos, the search for meaning, and the thirst for answers could be expressions of this deep connection. We are not just here in the universe. We are an essential part of it, connected by our ability to experience and give meaning to what surrounds us. This leads us to an even deeper question. Are we merely passive observers, limited to interpreting what the universe presents to us? Or, when we reflect on the cosmos and try to understand the vastness around us, are we also shaping reality? When a conscious being looks at the universe, it transforms its perception into something more, into a meaningful interaction. The human experience, with its depth and complexity, could be a link between the observer and the observed, an interaction that reflects a fundamental union between being and the cosmos. If human consciousness is truly a reflection of the universe, then we are not merely discovering the cosmos. We are discovering ourselves as an integral part of a greater reality. Each experience, each insight, each advance in our understanding can be a step in the process of self-discovery of the universe itself. In this sense, consciousness is not just a characteristic of humanity, but a cosmic phenomenon, a continuous process that transcends individuality and touches the universal essence. Our identity as conscious beings may go far beyond any limited definition. We may be both unique and universal, an expression of something greater that seeks, through us, to understand and realize itself. Throughout history, science and spirituality have often been seen as opposing paths. each addressing the mystery of existence from seemingly irreconcilable perspectives. Science relies on observation and understanding of the physical processes that govern the material world, seeking detailed explanations of how phenomena arise and develop. Spirituality, on the other hand, seeks to understand life's deeper purpose and meaning, exploring what might lie beyond the tangible, a dimension that transcends the physical. However, as we delve into the question of consciousness, we see that both approaches not only investigate the same mystery, but also complement each other in crucial ways. For science, consciousness is an enigma because it doesn't fully fit into the traditional model of cause and effect. Scientists seek to understand how the electrical and chemical activity of the brain results in subjective experiences, a problem known as the hard problem of consciousness. In the materialistic view, consciousness emerges as a byproduct of brain complexity and biological evolution, a secondary effect that arose over millions of years. However, thinkers like the philosopher Thomas Nagel and scientist Philip Goff challenge this purely materialistic view. Nagel, for example, argues that if we consider consciousness as merely a byproduct of matter, we are ignoring essential aspects of reality. He suggests that consciousness is a fundamental feature of the universe, something that cannot be reduced to purely physical processes. For Nagel, understanding consciousness requires an expansion of our scientific theories to include the mind as an inherent element of existence. Philip Goff, on the other hand, proposes a view called panpsychism, which considers consciousness a universal property, present to some degree in all things, even the most basic particles. This idea, although controversial, offers a meeting point between science and spirituality, the notion that consciousness permeates all reality, and thus, the universe would not be a purposeless machine, but rather a living, conscious structure in different degrees of complexity. Spirituality, on the other hand, has always maintained the idea that consciousness has a transcendent origin. From Eastern philosophical traditions to Western thought, consciousness is often interpreted as an expression of the divine, or as a bridge between the human being and what we call ultimate reality. This view invites us to consider that consciousness is not something that just happens, but rather an intentional aspect, a tool through which the universe or existence in its purest form can express and experience itself. This openness to the possibility that consciousness is fundamental to the nature of the universe represents a significant shift in how we interpret the world. By combining scientific investigations with the questions raised by spirituality, we allow for a richer vision that is not limited to a single explanation, but embraces the possibility that the universe, in all its depth and complexity, is a place where purpose and meaning naturally emerge. After all, when we try to understand consciousness, we are not only unraveling a mystery of the human brain, but also exploring one of the deepest aspects of the universe itself, a link that connects us to the greater mystery we are part of. Consciousness doesn't just observe reality, but gives it meaning. Through consciousness, we experience values such as good, evil, beauty, and suffering. Without consciousness, these concepts simply would have no place in the universe. They would not exist at all. It is what allows us to see something as valuable, worthy, or meaningful. Some thinkers even believe that value is more than a human construction. It would be a fundamental aspect of existence, accessible only through consciousness. This view, often called value realism, suggests that values transcend our individual and cultural interpretations. When we experience joy or pain, love or loss, we are not just responding to physical stimuli. We are connecting our consciousness to something deeper, something essential to the universe. From this perspective, the very ability to recognize value, to see beauty in the stars, to feel compassion for others, to find peace in moments of silence, may be a reflection of a higher order, a connection between our inner perception and a truth that exists beyond us. In other words, our consciousness enables us to touch aspects of the universe that have meaning in themselves, regardless of our presence. In the field of quantum physics, discoveries go beyond visible matter and challenge our perception of the nature of reality. Something surprising emerges when we observe the behavior of quantum particles. When measured, these particles seem to choose a specific state, as if the presence of a conscious observer influences their behavior. With this in mind, we come to a question. If the act of observing changes the behavior of particles, could consciousness be an active element in constructing reality? The physicist John Wheeler was one of those who proposed the idea that the very presence of an observer is essential for the universe to exist as we know it. According to him, consciousness not only observes but also participates in the creative process of the universe as an essential piece of the cosmic dynamic. This notion challenges the traditional view that reality is independent of our perception, suggesting that, in some way, the act of perceiving shapes what is perceived. This concept, known as retrocausality, questions the linear understanding of cause and effect. Considering that consciousness can influence the course of reality, consciousness is elevated to the status of a co-creator, a force that interacts with the essence of the universe and participates in its unfolding. This view invites us to rethink our role in the reality that surrounds us. Perhaps we are more than passive observers. Our own consciousness may be an active expression of the universe in continuous evolution. Faced with all the mysteries and complexities surrounding consciousness, a possibility arises that redefines our understanding of the universe. What if consciousness is not just a chance effect, but a necessary element, a cosmic imperative? This hypothesis leads us to consider that the universe itself could be in a continuous process of evolution, a development that seeks not only to form physical structures, but also to expand the presence of consciousness. This idea suggests that consciousness is not an isolated phenomenon, arising under exceptional conditions, but rather a fundamental expression of the very nature of the cosmos. As if, throughout its existence, the universe had progressed toward a point of complexity where consciousness would become not only present, but omnipresent, deeply integrated into all reality. This cosmic imperative would indicate that, at the foundation of the universe, there is a direction in search of self-awareness, something that transcends mere material evolution and points toward a deeper, more conscious realization of being. If we accept this view, what would our responsibility be in this process? If consciousness is one of the universe's evolutionary purposes, every thought, every choice, and every act of perception becomes a contribution to this greater journey. For we are not merely isolated individuals, but active participants in a universal evolution. Our ability to experience and create meaning fuels this development, connecting our lives to the cosmos's greater destiny. So, the cosmic imperative of consciousness invites us to live with purpose, understanding that each experience of self-knowledge and each act of expanded awareness are steps in an evolution that transcends humanity itself. In this sense, consciousness would not just be a characteristic of the human being, but a continuous expression of the universe, a presence that connects us to something greater and reminds us of our essential role in the very expansion of reality. Thank you for embarking on this journey with me. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to like and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with others so they can benefit from this message. And don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your thoughts, reflections, and experiences. Thanks again for watching and for joining me. Take care and see you soon.